Pandavaschaiva kimakurvat Sanjaya. Translation. Dhritrasthra said, O Sanjaya, after addressing in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do, being desirous to fight? I think both of you were not present last time, and we had a discussion on the first verse of Bhagavad Gita, wherein we were discussing about the don'ts of leadership from Dhritarashtra. So if we see this verse itself, here Dhritarashtra is segregating Mamka and Pandava. He's saying Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yutsavaha. Dharma Kshetra means that place, that land of Kurukshetra was also known as Dharma Kshetra, and Kurukshetra, that was the place where the battlefield was happening, Kurukshetra. Samaveta means Samavesh. Samavesh means assembled. They assembled at that place. Samaveta Yutsavaha. Yutsava means desiring to fight. Yudh. Utsava means Yuyutsavaha. They wanted to Yuddha. Who wanted to do Yuddha? At the place of Dharmashetra. Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. He's segregating Mamaka means my sons and Pandavas. If you know from the historical background that they all belong to one family, Pandavas and Kauravas. But here he's segregating both of them. He's saying Mamaka means mine son, and Pandava's son. So what are they doing? Desirous to fight. So here one mentality of Dhritarashtra, what we discussed last time is the mentality of nepotism, is the mentality of favoritism. Although he knew that I'm blind by birth, and similarly my sons are also blind by power, so actually they are not right candidate to rule the world, to rule the kingdom. But since he had that kind of favoritism, that kind of inclination towards his own son, that's why he was blinded emotionally. So not only he blinded by having no eyes, but also he was blinded emotionally, because he carried away by the emotions of having his own son as a ruler. So you see, even though the astrologer, before they started the Kurukshetra war, knew that this is not going to work out. They said all your sons will be killed out. But still he thought, let me still go ahead with this war and think still we can have some opportunity to win over the kingdom. He was so blinded. So he was not understanding that my sons are not capable enough. The Pandavas are much more capable to rule the kingdom. So there we understood the concept of criticality capability index. So what is this criticality capability index? It means the critical work should be done by capable people. So who was capable to rule the kingdom? Pandavas. And it was critical thing. It is not a small thing of being able to rule some kingdom. It was not a small company which they were thinking to rule. It was a big kingdom, right? So that was we discussed last time, that similarly in our leadership also we understand that we should not have that kind of biasness. If we become biased toward one person, although he is not capable enough, we'll tending to give the important project to that person, similar to Dhritarashtra. So the better solution is the work should be done by the competitor people. And even though he wanted to enjoy, Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana wanted to enjoy, they could have always made a terms with Pandavas. Okay, you rule the king, you rule the kingdom, and you keep giving us royalty, and we'll keep having the money. That is also known as uh, the me and mine syndrome, because it's mine kingdom, and my people should only rule. My people should only be in front. Yeah, it is true. At the same time, those people should also be capable enough to rule, capable enough to handle the project, capable enough to handle the position. And we also discuss about how when a person think that only my son should become the CEO, only grandson should become the leader in the company, then what happens is known as generational curse. We discussed last time. The generation curse says that first generation work hard to establish the kingdom, second generation will enjoy that, and third generation will destroy that. So we should understand that we should not have that element of nepotism, that favoritism, so that we don't carrying that Dhritrasthra mentality. That is first thing what we discussed. Second point, second learning what we discussed about the character of Dhritarashtra and what we should not implement in leadership is indecisiveness. Although he had many opportunity that he could correct things, he could take right decision at the right time, and he was powerful enough. He had that power. So once we are not able to use the power wisely, rightly, and timely, then also difficulty happens. So once power is being given, we should try to implement it. We should try to use that power to take right kind of decisions and should not get trapped in the trap of status quo. What is a status quo trap? It means we want to maintain the status quo. Like for example, Kodak. Kodak was a great company like few decades ago. So they were like booming like anything in camera. But they were not they couldn't anticipate that it is going to be digitized after some time. Cameras, different kind of cameras are going to come. So they thought that since we have invested a lot of money in this structure, having the reels camera, so they were not able to move forward. They got trapped in that status quo. They were thinking, anyways, money is coming from this, why we should change? But they couldn't anticipate what's going to happen next, and they got trapped in the recency biasness. Means we have been making money, we have been doing something great, but in future what is going to happen, they couldn't foresee, and they couldn't take right decision at right time. So we also discussed about that, how that sometime indecisiveness also can come when we don't bring out important issues at the right time. We try to hide things, and with it's going on, why we should worry much about it, right? We have those kind of ideas sometime that I know it's wrong, but if I have to bring it up, then I have to take some decisions, strong decisions, which I'm not ready to. So we let us put under the carpet, and after some time what happens, you would see many things would have gone wrong, and it would have been irreversible harm you would have done to something or other. That also we discussed in that indecisive part. So then we had a equation wherein we discussed that weakness of indecisiveness and the wickedness of nepotism. The wickedness of nepotism and the weakness of indecisiveness was a real damaging equation of making that person destroy his own kingdom. The game was over. So we'll discuss three more important learning from Dhritarashtra, what we can understand from him and what we should not do. The third thing is, if you see, even the co-founder of that company, who was co-founder here with Dhritarashtra? Gandhari. Gandhari was co-founder, and then she was a equal participant in what was going on there. So, but what she did is she also blinded herself. She thought, anyways, my husband cannot see, and he's not able to make right kind of decisions. So she thought, let me also blind myself. And he also agreed. He also didn't say, no, at least you are my better half. You can be open blinded. Why you want to? You can see things and can tell me what's going on. Why you want to be blinded? He didn't say that. He didn't object. So in our leadership role, what can create this closeness of co-founderness, or who is co-founder here? Co-founder means the employees are working with me in a company. Let's say somebody is a founder, so who are working under him, who has that kind of roles to play, they can support the entire growth of a company. If they also become closed, then what happens? Then destruction happens. So I'm not able to see certain things in my life, or I'm not able to forecasting, I'm not able to project how it is going to change, what changes should I bring in my company, what I should not do, what I should do. I'm not able to see as a CEO of a company, as a founder of a company. But there are some employees who have a sharp vision. If they also blind themselves and they don't speak up, then what happens? It becomes stagnant. So what is the reason I want this to be more interactive now? So why do you all think that the co-founder or the employees in the company become closed and they become like Gandhari and they don't want to share their views? What is the reason? So what do you all think? What is the reason that we have a closed co-founders? I request all the participants in Zoom also, so that all of you can participate here. What is the reason that we have a closed co-founder?
Great.
I'm sorry?
Great, Prabhu.
Great.
Yeah, great.
Greed. Okay, greed. Yes. Closed co-founder greed. Okay. One important point came up is greed. Anyone else?
Great, actually. They had the same vested interest. They had the same viewpoint, same attachments to the outcome.
Same attachment to the outcome. Okay. I want you to think more practically. Let's say if a boss is not able to see certain things, why would employee not tell to the boss what's wrong is going on and what should be corrected?
They also wanted to be in the good books of the management.
Yes, good books of management. They don't want to speak out.
Correct.
Because they think, anyways, if I say something, he's going to judge me. He will fire me off. He may just kind of retaliate in some sense. Okay, very important point. They want to be in good books. Anyone else would like to share their viewpoints? So if you see, the one of the reason is
Cannot say no to the boss.
cannot say no. Yes man syndrome. So one more point came up is yes man syndrome. Yes man is a syndrome, actually. Always saying yes and always trying to please the boss. Good book in the management, yes man syndrome. Very valid points. So what do you all think? Where it is rooting from? Where it is coming from? And what changes we can make so that they opens up and they don't feel like this? By
Arrogance is the main culprit, I guess.
Yes.
Your boss is arrogant, he will not listen to anybody.
Yes, arrogance. We will be coming to this very important point, arrogance, the attitude of a leader. Arrogance. Beautiful point. Thank you very much, Dinesh ji. So if you see, as you all pointed out rightly, the most important factor is that we are not able to create that open atmosphere for them to speak up. We are not able to create that ownership onto the people, and we are not able to create that positive feedback in system. Why do you think we are not able to create that sort of connection, that kind of belongingness? They don't feel that. Let it happen. How does it matter to me? That company will be in loss. We'll find some other job. Because they're not feeling that it is my company. They're feeling that sense of belongingness is not there. The sense of connection is not there. Because we are not able to win their trust. We are not able to show them that as a leader we care for them. And it's rooted, as Dinesh rightly pointed out, in the arrogance of a person. That he think that I should not be judged. If I'm doing something, I cannot go wrong. I become attached to those results. I become attached to those ideas. I become attached to certain things in my life. So you see, so becoming attached to my own ideas, by becoming attached to my own decision, by becoming attached to my own way of working, and creating that closed atmosphere and feel threatened. We can feel threatened. Okay, if this person is becoming more intelligent than me, he can take over me, right? So because of that, we create that very close atmosphere in the company, in a firm, in a corporate structure. Because of that, there is no positive feedback system. And as a leader, we should be open for constructive feedback always. And that would be our next point, that because so we should have a open atmosphere in the company, in the culture. That should be the part of culture, so that we don't have a close co-founders like Gandharis, and we don't end up losing our kingdom which we have created. That is one point. The next point, which is very much connected to this and which would be clarifying more points going further, is that you see the Kauravas, Dhritarashtra's had that opportunity that they could share away some part of it with the Pandavas. Krishna even came that he said that just give us 5 villages because we are Kshatriyas, we are not Brahmanas, we cannot rule, we cannot beg, we cannot do any other things. We as a Kshatriya we should be ruling. So just to manifest or just to engage ourselves, just to maintain ourselves, just give us 5 villages. We'll manage with this, and you take the entire kingdom. Why didn't Dhritarashtra give away part of Indraprastha? He couldn't give away because one thing is arrogance of Duryodhana. Second thing is he didn't want to delegate power. He didn't want to give away Indraprastha. He was very insecure. Similarly, what learning we can have from this? That if we are not able to give away Indraprastha, that means we are not able to delegate the power. Yes, it is rooted in insecurity. That was rooted in arrogance, that is rooted in insecurity. People think if I empower my employees, then I will lose away control. I will lose away the prominency. I will lose away that spotlight. So as we discussed last time also, that leadership is not about me. It's about other person. It's about serving other person. So if we don't have that serving mentality, that I'm serving my employees, I'm not a boss here. There's a difference between boss and leader. Boss always think it is me who matters. Leader think it is them who matters. Right? So we are not able to empower employees because what happens is the powerlessness, we become so intoxicated to power that even a slightest thought that I may lose this power paralyzes us. It is known as powerlessness paralysis attack. So what is this? Powerlessness paralysis attack happens once I feel even an idea, even a thought of it that I may lose some control over the kingdom or over my employees. It paralyzes us. And the reason is, let me try to go more into the depth of it. Why do we feel like this? We feel to some different degrees, not that we feel completely, like it's not a 0-1 logic. We feel to different degrees, shades of colors. So here we feel that powerlessness paralysis attack happens. It can also manifest by the reaction we give to the person. We don't have that positive outlook toward constructive feedback. We always think if somebody is giving me feedback, he is judging me. He is kind of judging my capabilities. He thinks he is better, and then he may take over. The reason is why we have that kind of attitude, because is a difference between personalizing pain and impersonalizing pain. So pain we feel when somebody questions us, but do we personalize that pain or do we impersonalize that pain? What's the meaning of personalized pain and impersonalized pain? For an example, you're moving out of the temple now and you just, may God forbid, just fall down and you hurt your back or you hurt your knees. So you just fell down by yourself. It hurts you, let's say, X amount of pain. But you came to know there was one of your enemy who was behind you and he kind of pushed you, and because of that you fell. So how much pain do you think would you feel? In that case, you felt X amount of pain when you fell by yourself. How much pain do you think would you feel when somebody whom you know pushed you and you fell?
It will definitely be much more.
Much more. It will be like 10x, 100x, like so much of pain. Why? The reason being, we are now personalizing the pain. The moment we personalize the pain, that very moment our pain increases. is psychological phenomena which works everywhere. So that is another learning what we can have from here is the moment we impersonalize the pain, let's say somebody have ditched us, somebody is not working according to this thing, the moment we impersonalize the pain, it reduces. And how we can apply this principle in leadership qualities and how that Dhritrasthra was not able to implement that. So I will give you two statements and you have to tell me the difference between both of them. First statement is I am leader. Okay. Second statement is I am playing the role of a leader. How these two statements are different? I am leader versus I am playing the role of a leader.
One taking the ownership, two is not acting as the owner.
Yes, you're very close to it. Anybody else from the Zoom meeting would like to share anything? That how these statements are different. I am leader versus I am playing the role of a leader. Yes, Moiji, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe in one case you are identifying yourself as a leader. You feel it, you truly believe it. And in the other case, you really basically, it's more out of your ego that, okay, I'm the leader, I need to do something. So there's empathy versus there's no empathy in that.
Yes, yes. Beautiful point, Mohiji.
When you're a leader, you're ready to take the blame. I mean, like when it fails, you're ready to take the responsibility. When you're acting as a leader, that is not equal to leader.
Yeah, so when I say I am leader, don't you think is a sense of a ego which comes into the play? I am something. I am a great leader. How can I do something wrong? Isn't it? Sense of arrogance, sense of egoistic nature. How can I be wrong? How can he question me? How can I be wrong? How can I not know this? Versus I am playing the role of a leader. I am different, and this leadership is a position which is being given to me. It is different. I am serving as a leader. I am playing that role. So what's happening is when we think that I am leader, anything which is questioned to you or to that leadership quality, you will think it is questioning me. You will take it very personally. It's like personalizing the pain. It's a personalized pain. But the moment you say, I am playing the role of a leader, it is this position is being given to me for certain purpose. So it means I am playing the role of a leader. I am different as a person, and this leadership position is different, which I have to justify my role. I don't have to think that I know everything, I'm the only boss, I'm this, I'm that. Humility creeps in. This position is being given to me for serving the followers, not bossing over the followers. So from this we can have this idea. If we have this idea of I am the leader, the fallacy is losing power becomes equal to losing myself. When we lose power over people, when you lose power, you think that I'm not able to delegate. If I delegate, then I'm going to lose some power. What's happening is you're thinking that part of you is getting chipped away. I'm losing my own self. Because it makes you feel losing myself. That's why I'm not able to, delegate. I'm holding on to things. I'm not able to let go for the betterment of company. The moment we have this kind of ideas, then so real leadership is a combination of compassion, openness, and competitiveness. Some people can be non-competitive, but they can be very closed. Dangerous combination. Some people can be competitive and can be open. Very good combination. So should be competitive as a leader and should be open-minded with having the element of compassion, which makes the perfect leadership qualities. So in this regard, we have this concept of mind slices. I think sometime else we would discuss about it, wherein we can train one part of me to act as a leader, to not spill personal thing into the leadership thing or personal thing into the professional thing. So when we keep spilling these different compartment of life, what I have, like I have the compartment of social life, I have the compartment of personal life, I have a compartment of family life, I have a compartment of emotional life, I have a compartment of professional life. So the ability to be able to compartmentalize thinking, that not allow one thing to spill over the other things, that is a different training what we go through sometime, that is known as developing mind slices, wherein a part of me is trained to act in a certain way, and that part of you feels in a certain way, and that part of act in a certain way. So that part remains separate, and it is up to you when you want to open it, when you want to close it. Once you switched on, it will work for you as your servant. We can train, we can have that kind of habit inculcate in us, and when we want, we can switch it off and we can shift to different role. So this, when we say that I am playing the role of a leader, you only will play the role of a father, you only will play the role of a husband, play the role of a son. So different roles we can play, and we can still keep intact our identity separate, so that we don't get merged and we don't feel that I'm losing in some relationship, I'm losing in this company, I'm losing in family. I don't get lost. That sense is very important. And for this, we also have to understand in a higher courses, which we'll be discussing separately, who is at me. So if we are able to separate myself from all those things, I can manage it better. That is another important thing. So fourth point what we discuss is ability to delegate power in the right way, empowering employees, and don't feel threatened, don't feel insecure, don't feel arrogant. It's not only about me, it's also about other employees who are working with me, taking them along. It's an overall development which matters for you, not your own self development. Both are important. Last fifth point, what we'll be discussing this is, and we'll be concluding after that although Dhritrasthra had a very, very, very powerful advisor with himself, but he didn't listen to him. Who was the advisor available for Vidura? For Dhritarashtra? Vidur. Yeah, I just told it. I just told the name. So Vidura was available with Dhritarashtra. He could help him, but was he ready to listen to him? No, he was not listening to him, and because he was not listening to him, he was listening to Duryodhana. He was listening to Sakuni, and Sakuni had his own vested interest to be fulfilled. You see how this entire game was happening. Similarly, so the one of the dangerous thing what Dhritarashtra did out of arrogance, out of self-conceitness, out of the pride, out of whatever you say it as, out of lack of humility, is that he didn't listen to Vidura. Similarly, what do you all think? How we all can make this mistake of not listening to our Vidura?
Yeah, I think one thing is to know who is the right one, right?
Yes.
I mean, when you're blinded, you don't know. In this case, as a third person, we know Vidur was very wise and he was giving good advice. But when you are in that situation, you don't know who to listen to.
Yes. So ability to find out the real well-wisher. This is one thing which is very important, and being able to listen to that advisor, that well-wisher. Right? So we should always have our well-wisher who wishes well for me, who is looking after for me, not my company or not my wealth. So there are two things. People changes in our life. When time changes, people also changes. Have you experienced that? Time keeps changing, people also keeps changing. When money comes, when opulence comes, when good time comes, people will start saying, "Oh, how are you? You are great. You are this. You are that. You are everything." But when time changes, same people will say, Who are you, sir? So how are you changes to who are you based upon how the time is changing. So we should know some people in our life, we should have some people in our life who are not attached to me because of my time, or who are not attached to me because of my wealth, who are not attached to me because of my power, but who are really have a genuine concern for me, who is attached to me, not to my time. Because as time will keep changing, people will keep changing, but you as a person as a remains same. So if somebody is attached to you, that person will not change, and that person will always be with you in range, whether it's rain, shine, or whatever. That is one thing. Second thing is, we should always have right kind of counselors, because another aspect of a leadership is to open to ideas and to understand and have that humility in oneself, that I may not know everything, I can be wrong. So developing that characteristics of humility and understanding that I may not know everything, there is something which I may not know, so I should listen to that person who knows about that particular subject matter, because it's not possible for anybody to know everything of all the things. They can know something of everything and everything of something, but not everything of everything. We should understand our incapabilities, and that every human is in some sort of, we have our own human weaknesses. Sometimes we may be prejudices, we have our own filter system, we may not have we have certain sort of belief system which we filter it through, because we have not completely healed. We have some of our own wounds which is lingering around and which is disturbing me and not allowing me to take right kind of decisions. So we should have third party person who is able to, who is first of all your well wisher, second thing, he's expert in that domain, expertise in that particular domain, and he's able to see from a third party perspective, and then able to guide you properly. So if we have so we should never be in that kind of mood that I know everything. Should be ready to take advices. Like greatest of leaders take advice of a right person who has done something in that domain. So it means one more thing is open for learning. We should be always open to learn new things as a leaders, because that's how because it is me as a person who will be taking decisions for so many things. So if I am not constantly upgrading myself and not get stuck in one right in kind of thinking and not able to move from that particular ideas, it becomes very dangerous. So these are the things which we can learn from the characteristics of Dhritrasthra, what we should not do as a leader. So that is first sessions, these 5 points. The first point was, if anybody would like to repeat, the first point what we can learn, the don'ts of leadership from Dhritrashtra is nepotism and favoritism. Second thing is indecisiveness. Third thing was giving away Indraprastha or empowering people. The fourth thing was closed co-founder. The fifth thing is listening to our Vidura. So if we can implement, if we can unlearn these 5 things, which some of us might have developed over a period of time, and understand how they can be very dangerous in my personality and upgrade my own system, then we can see how we can become a better and better servant leader, wherein we can help other growing. So that's how we understand the 5 don'ts of leadership from Dhritarashtra, and then we'll be continuing this series by understanding Duryodhana's character, because Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana of same category. So we'll be going forward in the next 2-3 sessions. We'll be discussing about learning from Duryodhana, and then we'll be learning from do's of leadership from Krishna. So now we want to first understand what we should not do from Dhritarashtra and from Duryodhana, and then we'll be understanding what we should do from Krishna. Okay. So any doubts, any questions, anybody would like to share? Any comments? Praveenji, anything you would like to add in this, what we just discussed? We have Sanjeev ji, Praveen ji, Nirmal ji, Nasima ji, Mohit ji, Dinesh ji, Bapu ji. Anybody of you would like to share any other comments, any other points, any addition?
Very informative, Nitya ji. Thank you very much for your guidance. We love the session so far.
Yeah. So I request you to please join in person. It will be more interactive. It will be more powerful. So please request next time if you could come, so that it will be great.
Prabhu, I feel like, this, the management lessons teach in a different way. Like, you should not share your business secrets with, whoever it is, right? So when it comes to the leader who doesn't want to share things and he wanted to hold on to himself. So that is what we see in the modern corporate world, right? So they don't want to train thinking that, the person who is going to train is going to take over his role. And it's like, insecurity.
Yeah, insecurity, yes.
Right. So that is, so that is one thing. It actually, in an ideal world, what we discussed is definitely makes sense. But in this materialistic world, I know I'm answering half of my question, but so I feel like, this is probably practically when 90% of the population is actually following certain thing, and you are following in an ideal situation, may not be working in a way supposed to, right? For business is what I'm thinking.
Yes, so it is not 0-1 logic. We can always have degrees of it. How much is secure? The principle is important to understand. Once you understand principle, application we have to apply very intelligently in particular place, situation, circumstances. How much of it I can do that? The whole idea is to train myself as a leader that I should not be insecure. I should not try to control. I should not try to have prominence. So these are the fundamental things. So having those fundamental things in your life as a seed of your character, then how much to empower, how much to hold back, that is a different subjective question altogether. Maybe in some situation. Yeah.
Yeah, my only thought on that was, and I think that's a very good point, and I often tell my sons also, and I try to follow that insecurity only comes when you have stopped growing. So now others can catch up with you.
Yes.
But if you keep growing, if you keep learning, and you're going to always be ahead of the curve, then you don't mind sharing.
Yes.
Because when you're sharing X, you're already knowing Y, and when you're sharing Y, you are already at Z.
Yes.
So that I think really helps. So if you continue to grow,
yes,
then there's no reason to be insecure, because you are able to teach what you already know, because you're already ahead of the curve.
Yes. Very important point. Thank you very much. So as you rightly pointed out, if you are teaching X, then you have Y. So more you share, more you have is a universal principle. More you share, more you have. So if we based our decisions making in some higher principles, you would always take right decisions in a long term. Short term, it may feel, oh, that person is going ahead in my life, but we would see as a leader, we would grow, we'll be respected, and we'll be able to make right kind of decisions. It's not about personal gain which is important, it's about the overall gain of entire company which is important. So
yeah, that's definitely ideal situation again, right?
So,
I agree, definitely that we should not be insecure. But the thing is, the environment, what matters is, in current day situation I'm talking about.
Yes.
That ideal situation, like, yeah, definitely agree with the points.
Yeah. So even if you see, that is what we want to learn from Bhagavad Gita. So how from Bhagavad Gita I can upgrade my system, I can let go of these fears, I can let go of these insecurities and develop a higher spiritual being and become a spiritual leader. The whole idea from Bhagavad Gita is how, okay, I have certain weaknesses. How can I use the knowledge of Gita to overcome those weaknesses? How can I upgrade my own personality? How can I change my thinking process? The whole thing is in belief system. I am insecure because of certain kind of belief system. I am feeling fearful because I have certain sort of paradigm, certain sort of experiences in my life. So now what we want to do is we want to clean out the slate and we want to see from a higher perspective. So anyways, as you rightly pointed out, this takes time. So it is also about my own personal growth. So if I have to grow as a leader, I also have to grow as a person. Because you are the one who is a leader, right? If you don't grow in your own personal life, in your own internal life, in your own developing higher character, higher morals, and standing firmly on that, then no matter what you do will be disrupted. We'll be having those kind of dysfunctional ideas and dysfunctional system. The whole fundamental thing is to work upon yourself constantly. Is not work upon your skills, which is more of external things. Is also works upon your internal thing. And that is by using those tools, by using those perception, the higher goals, higher perception, you can use in a real time, analyzing a situation with your intellect and act from a higher platform.
That's good. Yeah, thank you.
Make sense?
Yes. I think, when it boils down to, developing your own intellect and character, then definitely it makes sense.
Yeah. Anybody else would like to share any other points, any comments? So I think what we can do is, some of you are not there in the group what we have, where we discuss about all these things, the schedule and everything. I'll be sharing the link of this particular group what we have on the chat section in the Zoom meeting, and request all of you to please join that, so that there we can discuss about the timings, about the right kind of this thing. We can have a constant discussion. I can share some document, I can share some links which can be more useful. So I'll be sharing in the chat section. I request all of you to please join that WhatsApp group, so that we are all on the same page next time.